Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. संकीर्तन यज्ञ की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, चैतन्य महाप्रभु की, श्रीमद् भागवतम श्रीमद् भगवत गीता की जय। नमः सर्वेभ्यः। आरम्भं कुर्मः। अद्य गौडीयदर्शनस्य सेशन् 9 मध्ये सर्वेषां स्वागतम्। अद्य वयं भक्तितत्त्वम् आरम्भं कुर्मः। नाम अत्रैव बहु नाम बहु सिद्धान्तः अपि अस्ति। अतः पञ्च वा षड् वा कक्षाः अस्मिन्नेव प्रचलति इति मन्ये। सो आदौ वयं वैदिसाधना इति चर्चयिष्यामः अद्य। तत् किञ्चित् उपरितः नाम विहङ्गवीक्षणेन किञ्चित् स्पृशामः। सो कुत्र स्मः इति पश्यामः। अहं ओवर्व्यू नाम प्रत्येकस्य किञ्चित् नाम समरी न ददामि, यतोहि अद्यापि बहु इण्ट्रेस्टिङ्ग् अपि तु बहु गभीर अंशान् चर्चयिष्यामः। अतः शीघ्रेण तत्र गन्तव्यम्। सो वयम् एतावता सर्वेषाम् उपरितः दृष्टवन्तः। नाम भगवत्तत्त्व किम्, अथारिटी नाम प्रमाणानि तु वेद एव अङ्गीकृतं। शब्दः, यतोहि अलौकिकशब्दान् अलौकिकविषयान् ज्ञातुं शब्द एव आत्यन्तिक प्रामुख्यता वहते। अपि तु जीवतत्त्वविषये भगवतः शक्तः विषये ज्ञातवन्तः। अन्तरङ्गिकशक्तिः, बहिरङ्गशक्तिः, तटस्था शक्तिः इति। जीवाः तटस्थशक्तौ पतन्ति। अपि तु सर्वेषां सम्बन्धः कथं वा भेद अभेद इति ज्ञातुं शक्नुमः इति अपि चर्चितं। नाम पूर्वस्यां कक्षायामेव जगतः अपि तु जीवानां जगताम् अपि तु अन्य अवताराणां भगवतः सम्बन्धः कथं वा भेद अभेद इति द्विधा वयं वक्तुं शक्नुमः इति चर्चितम्। अपि तु इदानीं वयं साधनानि चर्चयिष्यामः। साधनं तु भक्ति एव, परन्तु भक्त्यामपि स्तराः सन्ति। नाम शुद्धभक्ति भवति, अशुद्धभक्ति भवति, कर्ममिश्रभक्ति भवति, ज्ञानमिश्रभक्ति भवति। अतः किञ्चित् सावधानतया पश्यामः। अपि तु बहवः पद्धतिः पद्धती अपि सन्ति। नाम वैधी-साधना इति एका अस्ति। अपि तु रागानुगसाधना इति, साधनायामेव भेदाः प्रभेदौ सन्ति। सो अद्य वयम् आरम्भं कुर्मः भक्तितत्त्वे। ओके, सो आदौ एतद् तद् दशमूलतत्त्वस्य सूत्रम् आसीत्। साधनं शुद्धभक्तिः, शुद्धभक्तिः एव साधनं। किं प्राप्तुं साधनम् इत्युक्ते अस्माकं लक्ष्यः कः? कोऽपि स्मरति वा? लक्ष्यः कः?
कृष्णप्रेम।
कृष्णप्रेम। सो कृष्णप्रेमं प्राप्तुं साधनं किम् इत्युक्ते शुद्धभक्तिः। शुद्ध नाम मलरहितः भक्तिः, मलरहिता भक्तिः इति। अत्र अद्यापि अंशद्वयम् अस्ति। आदौ किञ्चित् भक्तितत्त्वं नाम तत्त्वं सम्यक्तया ज्ञास्यामः। भक्तिः नाम का इति अपि डेफिनिशन् दास्यति, ददाति रूपगोस्वामी प्रभुपाद। तस्य तद्वयं गभीरतया पश्यामः। पश्चात् एका पद्धतिः अस्ति वैधी-साधना इति, तद् किञ्चित् उपरितः पश्यामः। ओके, सामान्यतया भक्ति का इति किञ्चित् नाम सामान्यज्ञानं वयं चर्चयिष्यामः आदौ। So kim धातु प्रत्ययं वयं पश्यामश्चेत् भक्तिः भज सेवायाम् आराधनायां प्लस तिन् प्रत्यय इत्यतः अत्र स्त्री प्रत्यये भवति भक्ति स्त्री भवति, स्त्रीलिङ्गे भवति। सामान्यतया वयं भक्ति नाम किम् इति चिन्तयामः। एतत् सर्वं भवन्तौ अपि अङ्गीकुर्वन्ति खलु, नाम डिवोशन, okay, some feeling towards somebody higher, okay, or feeling of taking shelter, ashraya, or sharanagati, surrender. Do you agree? That's how generally we have the feeling of bhakti. Anybody else has another extra, understanding of different understanding of bhakti so far? I should have asked you to tell, actually. I gave the answer.
These three are appropriate, that's a correct thing.
Correct thing, okay.
First comes to our mind, yeah.
Generally bhakti means we think, okay, like this, okay, good.
Yeah.
Absolute unconditional love.
Okay, good. Wow, she's already talking about Shuddha Bhakti here. Okay, so that's good. Okay, that's what actually Rupa Goswami is going to put it in a shloka and give us the definition. So that's good. Seema Bhagini is right on target. Okay, so now, okay, see, that's what Draupadi, she took shelter of Krishna, right? During the that disrobing where Tatra. Okay, so that's one example of bhakti, ananya bhakti. Parantu asmin darshane Srila Prabhupada apitu purvasya purva acharyaha bhakti nama devotional service iti katyante. न तु डिवोशन नाम तत् मेजर कर्तुम् अपि न शक्यते खलु, कियत् डिवोशन अस्ति, कियत् भक्ति अस्ति एकस्य हृदि इति वक्तुं वा मेजर कर्तुम् अपि न शक्यते। परन्तु डिवोशन अस्ति चेत् वयं सेवां कुर्मः तद् एक्स्प्रेस् कर्तुम्। अतः अपि तु एतद् धातुरूपे बहु सम्यक्तया अन्वेति सेवायां खलु। सो भक्ति नाम सेवा नाम अनुकूल्येन सेवा. Again, I have to tell bhaktya seva, but it's like, we're going in a circle, right? So anukulyena iti Rupa Goswami vadati, nama favorable service for pleasing the other person. Okay, who is that other person? We will discuss. Okay, so samanyataya bhaktau adhikari ka bhavati ityukte, kah bhavati ityukte एतद् भक्तिरसामृत सिन्धौ भक्तिरसामृत सिन्धु इति रूपगोस्वामी प्रभुपादेन रचितम्। ओके, रूपगोस्वामी कः इत्युक्ते चैतन्य महाप्रभोः साक्षात् डायरेक्ट डिसैपल अस्ति। चैतन्य महाप्रभुएन महाप्रभुना ज्ञानं प्राप्तं तेन एकस्मिन् सन्दर्भे। पश्चात् तम् उपदिशति, नाम एतद् शास्त्रं लिखतु, तेन सर्वस्य नाम सिद्धान्तान् सम्यक्तया प्रदर्शितुं शक्नुमः, अग्रे अग्रे परम्परायां बहु उपयोग भवति इति उपदिष्टवान्। बहवः इन्स्ट्रक्षन्स् दत्तवान्। एकः अस्ति एतत् शास्त्रं लिखतु इति। अतः सः भक्तिरसामृत सिन्धु इति बृहत् पुस्तकं लिखितवान्। बहु बृहत् अस्ति। इट्स् लैक् इट्स् मैग्नम ओपस। It's like it's divided into four waves. He called it, basically he uses the analogy of the ocean. So ocean has shores, right? So north, west, east, south. So that are oceans first, and each ocean there are waves, lahari. So like that, and he described in so much detail everything, giving lakshanam for everything, shastra pramanam, apitu katam va kramashah ekah bhaktau pragatihi kartum shaknoti, staraha ke tasya lakshanani ke. Nama vayam एतद् अन्यस्य कृते न, अस्माकं कृते एव, नाम मम कृते एव अहं स्तरं समाप्य अहम् अग्रे गतवती वा इति चिन्तयितुमपि उपयोगाय भवति। नो चेत् अहं कुत्र इदानीं अस्माकं बहु अशुद्धचिन्तनानि सन्ति, अशुद्धचिन्तनानि, परन्तु वयं शुद्धभक्ति प्राप्तुं शक्नुमः, नाम इच्छामः। सो कथं वा अस्मिन् स्तरात् कथं वा तत्र गन्तव्यं, बहु दूर नाम बहु लाङ्ग् जर्नी अस्ति खलु। मध्ये मैल् स्टोन्स् किमपि लभते वा, नाम ज्ञातुम् अहं करेक्ट् रैट् पात् मध्ये अस्मि, किमपि दोषान् न कुर्वती अस्मि इति एतत् सर्वं ज्ञातुं शास्त्रम् अपेक्षितम्। अपि तु अहम् उक्तवती पूर्वमेव, सः रूपगोस्वामी प्रभुपादः नाट्यशास्त्रं येन लिखितं, नाम भरतमुनेः अनुसृत्य एव लिखितवान्। बहु नाम टैट्लि अनुसृत्य एव लिखितवान्। किमपि बहु नूतनं न आविष्कृतवान्, परन्तु तत् सर्वं प्रिन्सिपल्स् भक्तौ कथम् अन्वेति इति, अपि तु शास्त्रात् कथं प्रमाणं दर्शनीयम् इति सर्वं योजयित्वा प्रदर्शयति। सो अतः मम अपि अभिलाषा अस्ति, कदाचित् एतद् ग्रन्थं साधितः अहं पठामि इति। सो पश्यामः कथं वा। अपि तु अन्यत् एकम् अस्ति, सः तु मूलमात्रं लिखितवान्, तदपि श्लोकरूपेण, बहु सरल श्लोकरूपेण। तस्य व्याख्यानानि अपि सन्ति। नाम कः लिखितवान् व्याख्यानम् इत्युक्ते, जीवगोस्वामी प्रभुपाद एव लिखितवान्। एकं तु कः जीवगोस्वामी इत्युक्ते, रूपगोस्वामी प्रभुपादस्य अग्रजस्य पुत्रः। अतः किं भवति, I don't know Sanskrit, basically he becomes his niece and Rupa Goswami becomes Jiva Goswami's uncle. So because of that, actually Jiva Goswami was younger to Rupa Goswami, and he was fanning Rupa Goswami while Rupa Goswami was compiling this literature. So he was very close to the author. So whenever Rupa Goswami writes something and Jiva Goswami has clarification question, immediately he will ask him, do you mean like this or do you mean something else? You put like this in the shloka. Then he explains, and that's what he wrote, a prose commentary, like not in shloka. So he can go in detail and explain more in detail what it is. And Saha Jiva Goswami Prabhupada eva षट् सन्दर्भान् लिखितवान्। तत्तु अमूल्य योगदानम् अस्ति। बहु बृहत् गभीरतया गत्वा भक्तिसन्दर्भ, एतद् प्रीतिसन्दर्भ, भगवत्सन्दर्भ इत्यादि षट् सन्दर्भानि, परमात्मसन्दर्भ सर्वं निरूपितवान्। प्रिन्सिपल् सर्वं शास्त्रतः प्रमाणानि प्रदर्श्य निरूपितवान्। सो अतः एतद् नाम we are really, this is the root, actually the crux of the philosophy, with the proper pramana, everything, and Srila Prabhupada ISKCON निर्मितवान् खलु। सः भक्तिरसामृत सिन्धोः समरी कृत्वा नेक्टर ऑफ डिवोशन इति आङ्ग्लभाषे लिखितवान्। So nectar of devotion, even now we can either purchase a book or even free, here read this freely online, all this. So it's a summary study, the summary study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Of course, in summary, he didn't put the Mula Matram of the shlokas, but he analyzed everything and gave the principle so that all the practitioners can understand, what is the full Bhakti-tattva before they start taking the process seriously. So अतः किञ्चित् वक्तव्यम् आसीत् भक्तिरसामृत सिन्धु तस्य प्रामुख्यता इति विषये। सो तत्र उपदिष्टं नाम उल्लिखितम् अस्ति, नृमात्र, सो कोऽपि नरः अस्ति चेदपि तस्य भक्तौ अधिकारः अस्ति। सो नरमात्र, अपि तु अन्यत्र अस्ति, नाम नर न भवति चेदपि, नाम प्राणिनः अपि इदानीन्तनकालः अपि वयं पश्यामः, नाम कोऽपि धेनु वा कोऽपि मर्कटः वा सर्वदा मन्दिरम् आगच्छति, तत् जन्मान्तरे भक्त्यौ प्रगति भवति, तथा कर्तुं शक्नोति। परन्तु नाम प्राक्टिस् कर्तुं साधनानि अपेक्षितं खलु, तद् नरजीवने एव रूपे एव नाम बहु फेसिलिटीस् लभते। अपि तु कृष्ण अपि वदति भगवद्गीतायां, वदतु नरसिंह, मां हि
पार्थ व्यपाश्रित्येऽपि स्वः पापयोनयः श्रेयो ऐशास्तथा शूद्रस्तेऽपि याति परां गतिम्।
एतत् श्रियः शूद्र अपि तु ब्रह्मबन्धु तेषामपि अवकाशः अस्ति अत्र। नाम एतत् त्रैवर्णिकानाम् एव न, एतत् सर्वेषां भक्ति इस् ओपन टू all. It's like all inclusive and exclusive in the sense of who is the object. Okay, but it invites everybody to participate. Actually, not only that, bhakti can be practiced at different ages. Balyeva नाम गर्भे अपि, एकवारम् अहं प्रेषितवती खलु एक श्लोक, गर्भे अपि जीवः प्रार्थयति अस्मिन् जन्मनि यदा अहं बहिः आगच्छामि तदा सम्यक्तया भक्तिं करोमि, किञ्चित् मां रक्षतु इति। पश्चात् बहिः आगत्य वयं सर्वं फर्गेट् कुर्मः, अतः विस्मरामः। अतः धन्यवादः। सो अपि तु गर्भे, अपि तु बाल्ये अपि कर्तुं ध्रुव महाराज, प्रह्लाद महाराज, महातार नरसिंह भवति खलु मूवी, तत्र बाल्यात् एव कर्तुं शक्नुमः। अपि तु यौवने बहु कष्टं, यतोहि बहु नाम सेन्स् ग्राटिफिकेशन् मध्ये मनः गच्छति। So ataha bhakti, it's our savior in all situations. Yatohi Bhagavane eva vadati Bhagavad-gītāyām antakale cha māmeva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati, what is that, Narasimha? Yaprayati samadbhavam yati nasti atra samshayah. So yaha mam nama krishnam anusmritya pranam tyajati na deham tyajati saha tasya samipe eva nama krishnasya samipe eva gacchati iti. Atah smaranam nama bhagavatah smaranam antakale pariksha bhavishyati tasya. So atah आजीवनं वयं practice कुर्मः, यतोहि अन्तकाले तं स्मरितुं शक्नुमः इति नाम प्रयत्नेन। अतः चतुर्विधा भजन्ते मां, नाम भक्तौ शुद्धभक्त्यामेव आरम्भं करणीय इति नास्ति, नाम अन्यथा अपि भवितुमर्हति। महारति वदतु चतुर्विधा।
चतुर्विधा भजन्ते मां जरा सुकृतोऽर्जुन आर्तो जिज्ञासुरर्थार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतर्षभ।
भगवद्गीतायां कृष्ण वदति 4 types of people come to him: आर्तो, जिज्ञासु, अर्थार्थी, ज्ञानी। एतत् पुनः वयं स्पृशामः एतद् विषये, अतः तद् गन्तव्यम् इदानीम्। ओके, अतः गभीरतया इदानीं न वदामि। चतुर्विधाः कथं वा नो, नाम तेषां किमपि अपेक्षितम् आदौ, नाम तेषां दुःखमस्ति, दुःखनाशनाय वा, नो चेत् ज्ञानं प्राप्तुं वा, नो चेत् जिज्ञासवः वा, नो चेत् what is this, arto jignasi, or no chet dhanam apekshitam ityadi inclinations nama desires adau santi tesham, parantu bhaktau shuddhata prapya ante te eva ज्ञास्यन्ति नाम एतत् तुच्छं मम अहम् अपेक्षितं, परन्तु अमूल्यरत्नम् अहं कृष्णरूपेण प्राप्तवान् इति ते एव चिन्तयन्ति। अपि तु अकाम कोऽपि काम अकामः सर्वकामो वा मोक्षकाम उदारति तीव्रेण भक्तियोगेन यजेत पुरुषं परम् सो अकाम अस्ति वा नाम कोऽपि काम नास्ति चेदपि सर्वकाम अस्ति चेदपि अकाम सर्वकामो वा मोक्षकाम अस्ति चेदपि भगवन्तमेव शरणं गच्छतु भगवन्तमेव भक्तिं करोतु इति अतः वयं बहु मा नाम डिस्करेज् मा भवामः okay I'm not at the Shuddha Bhakti platform. I still have desires. I still have desires for certain wealth or maybe peace in life or happiness in my domestic life, something. Even if all of this is there, don't worry. Just begin the process of bhakti. It's so potent, the process of bhakti, that it can cleanse all these things, and gradually our bhakti will become very pure. Okay. ओके अपि तु एतत् जन्म जन्मान्तरे भविष्यति एतत् एकैकं वदतु नरसिंह वदतु मनुष्याणां
मनुष्याणां सहस्रो कश्चिद् सिद्धये तदामपि सिद्धानां गच्छन्मां वेत्ति तत्त्वतः
बहवः जनेषु सहस्रेषु एकः मनुष्य कदापि कस्मिन् जन्मनि कस्मिंश्चित् जन्मनि सः भक्तिं नाम दृढतया स्वीकरोति इति अपि तु महरति वदतु बहूनां
जन्मनां मध्ये ज्ञानवान् मां प्रवर्तते वासुदेवः सर्वमिति सहमात्मा सुदुर्लभः
मारुति नरसिंह शनै वदतु you tell the words nicely, slowly, because other people may not know these verses and we want to understand when you tell. Okay, so both of you tell relish nicely and tell nicely. Don't keep eating the words. Okay, Marti? Okay. अपि तु ब्रह्मांड भ्रमिते कोण भाग्यवान जीवा गुरु कृष्ण प्रसादे पाय भक्तिलता बीजा सो वयं चर्चितं पूर्वमेव अस्माभिः चर्चितं नाम जीवः जन्म मृत्यु चक्रे बहवः उपरि अधः गच्छन्ति अस्ति अतः कथं वा तस्य मोक्षः इत्युक्ते ब्रह्मांड भ्रमिते कोण भाग्यवान जीव गुरु कृष्ण प्रसादे पाये भक्तिलता बीजा सो somehow गुरु कृष्ण कृपया सः गुरु कृष्णयोः कृपया सः जीवः भक्तिलता बीजं प्राप्नोति पुनः यदा सः प्रगति करोति तस्य नाम मुक्तिमार्गे अग्रे भविष्यति प्रचलति गच्छति ओके एतत् सामान्य ज्ञानमेव ओके सो भक्ति नाम डिवोशनल सर्विस विशेषता किमपि अस्ति इत्युक्ते एतत् समरी रूपेण वदामि यतोहि बहु ओके समाश्रिता ये पदपल्लव प्लवं सो कृष्णस्य भगवतस्य पदपल्लवं नाम लोटस feet are like plavam nama boat they are like boat to cross over the bhavambudhi ocean of material existence vatsapadam so the whole motion of ocean of material existence becomes as small as calf's footprint calf right the cow's baby if the calf walks on the land and it makes a hoof print in that hoof print how much ever water is there it becomes that small the ocean of material existence so nama kevalam etad gauna what to say falani api uktamasit नाम भवसागरं तरितुं शक्नुमः इति यतोहि गजेन्द्रस्य बहु पीडा आसीत् परन्तु आदौ सः पीडां नाशयितुं प्रार्थयति परन्तु सः अपि शुद्धभक्तिं प्राप्नोति अन्ते अपि तु वदतु शीघ्रेण नरसिंह
किमपि नास्ति
मय्यासक्त
आम् मयि आसक्तो न पार्थ योगं युञ्जन् मदाश्रय योगं युञ्जन्मदाश्रयः असंशयं समग्रं मां यथा ज्ञास्यसि तच्छृणु।
शनैः वदतु, सम्यक्तया वदतु।
मय्यासक्तमनः पार्थ योगं युञ्जन्मदाश्रयः असंशयं समग्रं मां यथा ज्ञास्यसि तच्छृणु।
So bhaktau, see what is it? Bhaktyam vayam bhagvantam ज्ञातुं शक्नुमः। यतोहि प्रीतिः तस्य कृते एव खलु, नाम तं ज्ञातव्यं खलु, तस्य अभिलाषा के, तस्य गुणगणाः के, तस्य लीलाः के इति। सो कः ज्ञातुं शक्नोति? भक्ति अस्ति चेतेव सः रिवील् करोति, सः एव अग्रे भविष्यति, नाम रहस्यं वदति। भक्त्या माम् अभिजानाति इति उक्तं। भक्त्या मामेव वयं तं ज्ञातुं शक्नुमः। अतः स एवायं मया भक्तोऽसि, अग्रे भवति, भक्तोऽसि मे सखा चेति। भवान् भक्तः अस्ति, अतः मम सखा अस्ति, अतः रहस्यं मे अहं वदामि इति। सो नाम आनुषाङ्गिक फलानि भवन्ति भक्तौ, भगवन्तं ज्ञातुं शक्नुमः, अपि तु भवसागरं तर्तुं शक्नुमः, एतद् भवति। परन्तु मुख्यफलं किमिति उक्ते भगवति रति, प्रेम, तदेव भक्तेः मुख्यफलम्। ओके ओके, नेक्स्ट। अतः वदन्ति तस्मात् केनापि उपायेन मनः कृष्णे निवेशयेत्। So somehow or the other we have to fix our mind on Krishna. Somehow or the other, kenapi upayena, kadachit, katanchit, somehow you have to figure out what it is we have to do to somehow fix our mind on Krishna, so that we can get benefited in this life as well as moksha marge. Okay, now idanim we are going to the crux of the matter. So uttama bhaktihi. So uttama bhaktehe lakshanam kim iti vayam chachayishyamah. अन्याभिलाषिता शून्यं ज्ञानकर्माद्यनावृतम् आनुकूल्येन कृष्णानुशीलनं भक्तिरुत्तमा। तो भक्तिरुत्तमा, उत्तमा भक्ति नाम एते लक्षणानि भवन्ति। आनुकूल्येन कृष्ण अनुशीलनम्, अपि तु अन्य अभिलाषिता शून्यम्, अपि तु ज्ञानकर्मादि अनावृतम्। एतद् दलकृत्या वयं डिस्कस् कुर्मः। यतोहि उत्तमभक्तेः लक्षणं सम्यक्तया ज्ञातव्यम्। ओके, शीलप्रभुपादः उत्तम भक्तेः उदाहरणं प्रदर्शयति अस्माकं कृते। सो एतद् अधिकारसूत्रं भवति, नाम भक्तिरसामृतसिन्धौ ग्रन्थे सर्वत्र तस्य अन्वयः भवति। सः किमपि वदति तस्य सम्बन्धे एव वदति। अधिकारसूत्रं नाम it gets derived, it gets inferred in the later sections. This is a concept of vyakarana. Okay, so atra mukhya lakshanam bhavati, api tu gauna lakshanani bhavanti. Okay, bhavatah dvayameva. So mukhya lakshanam green madhye asti, anukulyena krishna anushilanam iti, tad adau pashyamah. Anukulyena nama, in simple terms, it is favorable devotional service. So Krishnaya rochamana pravrittihi. So when we do something, it should be pleasing to Krishna. So we cannot say, okay, I will start like Shishupala. Shishupala bahu nindati Krishna. Tad bhakti na bhavati. Yatohi tasmai nam tammeva uddishya vadati. Parantu bhakti nasti. Yatohi dvesha asti hrudi. Nama kinchit prema affectionate sneha purvena स्नेहयुक्तेन करणीयं भवति. सो तत् रोचमाना भवेत्. अपि तु प्रतिकूल्ये नाम रिवर्स्, इफ् इट्स् वेरी व्हाट टु से, इट्स् नाट् फेवरबल, अनफेवरबल, प्रतिकूल्ये भक्ति-तत्व अप्रसिद्धेः. No, it's not called bhakti when it's unfavorable. Okay, that's a principle. So anukulyena, परन्तु एकमस्ति, नाम अहम् इतः जम्प् कृत्वा नाम अग्रे भक्तिविषये वदामि किञ्चित्। यतोहि कृष्ण एव वदति तस्मै नाम तस्मै गोप्याः वा यशोदा माता वा बहु निन्दति चेत् बहु रोचते तस्मै। So किं वा कथं वा ज्ञातुं शक्नुमः नाम some भेदा इत्युक्ते, see, before we become purified, and before we understand Krishna Tattva fully, and before we make genuine progress in bhakti, we cannot imitate and act like, the pure devotees of the Lord. But gradually, if we make progress and take up the Raganuga Bhakti, that's what we'll discuss in the next section. And when we develop that spontaneous feelings for the Lord, then Gopya, for example, they scold Krishna, you're a cheater, you're a rascal, you libertine, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Kitava, cheater. Gopis say in the Gopi Gita, and also when Krishna calls them for Rasa Leela, then in the night, first thing he says nicely, he only calls. He plays the flute and he calls them. Okay, and they hear the song and they understand it's a love call, and they all in the middle of the night they leave everything, they half dress, so they don't care about dressing properly also. Some are wearing one earring, some are wearing one garland, and some some left their kids like that, husbands. They ran and came because Krishna is calling, and they also were eager to serve Krishna. And when when they come, Krishna was peacefully playing flute. Okay, then they were sitting, they were, scratching the floor with the toenails, and they're bending their heads down and they're waiting. Then they were waiting for the flute to get over. Actually, there's a very nice, what they think in the mind at this point. Harisuri is one commentator on 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. He tells one, he gives a shloka for this. I'll just briefly summarize. So what he says is, what they think is that Vamshi, Vairini, they call it Vamshi, Vairini, your enemy, you are resting nicely on Krishna, on two pillows. One is Krishna's lower lip, other one is Krishna's thumb. And you are tasting the remnants of Krishna's betel nut from his mouth. Okay. And you are being pressed with the anguli. Anguli are like fingers, the females. Okay. Some females are massaging your feet. Okay. And you're resting nicely. Then still, why don't you keep quiet? Why don't you go to sleep? So they tell like that, saying that, okay, when will Krishna stop his flute playing? That's their mood. So then he stops his flute eventually, and then, then first thing he says is, oh, dead of the night, all of you girls came here. So dangerous place. Ghora ratri asti idanim. How come? Kimartam agatam atra? Iti pruchati. Then our acharyas tell, this is the time, we should scold Krishna. So for being such a, and then, they tell, okay, they also tell another verses like, okay, Krishna, you want us to go back? Okay, we'll go. But you only make your Vedas make a promise. Whoever surrenders to Krishna, they don't go back to samsara. But you are telling us to go back to samsara. Okay, we'll go. We'll put your order on our head and we will leave. But your wives, your wives, Veda Patni, Vedas are also Krishna's wives only. They come in a Rishi, Vedachari gopis, they come and they have relationship with Krishna. So your wives who are in Satyaloka, Vedas are in where? Brahmaloka, Satyaloka. So they cannot stay in their home today because they are telling lies. Whatever they told has become false now. They told whoever takes shelter of Krishna, they don't have to go back to samsara. But now you're sending back to samsara. So your wives, Vedas, whatever they're telling is false. So they cannot stay in Satyaloka anymore. So you ask your wives to go away. So that's what they tell. So, like that. So when at that elevated level of devotional service, Krishna loves the chastisement of the devotees. Actually, he loves that more than the recitation of the Vedas in the proper recitation of Vedas by the Brahmanas. That's what one shloka is there, to explain that. Okay. Apitu Krishna nama kim kaha ityukte kevalam Krishna na Krishnasya tad rupanam anyesham api grahakah nama Vishnu tattva ke sarvesham nama Krishna va Rama va kasminapi asmakam abhiruchi asti Narayana Narsimha kasyam api. Parantu nama rasaha sarvesham नाम सर्वेषां कृते वयं सर्वरसान् वयं प्रददातुं न शक्नुमः इति वयं ज्ञातवन्तः आदौ एव अपि तु अनुशीलनं धात्वर्थः एतत् धात्वर्थः अनुशीलनम् एतद् लुट् प्रत्ययः खलु अतः नाम क्रियामेव सूचयति So ka kriya ityukte pravrityatmakah nama kayavang manasiya tattat cheshta rupaha. Nama, by using our body, words and mind, we do some activities. Okay, that activities is that pravritti, that activities will become anushilanam. So we use all our senses to serve Krishna. So agre bhavishyati nama. How we can use all our senses in service, we will discuss later. Nivrityatmakah nama, this is withdrawal. Generally, nivritti means we go like a it's more like, in this context, it's like a withdrawal. So when we don't really use our senses fully, but we have the feelings in the bhava stage, bhava and prema stage, priti vishadatmako manasaha taddad bhava rupaha. So this is not really what we do physically with the senses. So it cannot be called cheshta rupa. It becomes bhava rupa, where we have feelings for Krishna. So sometimes pure devotees, they cry, they miss Krishna, they cry, or sometimes they are sad, sometimes they feel humble, dainya. All the symptoms are given. Bhava, bhave lakshanani ke bhavanti, kani bhavanti iti api uktavan saha. Ataha. Etad cheshta rupa na bhavati. Bhavarupa bhavati nivrityatmaka. Itohi vayam nama, we don't really act in that, like, physically with the senses. So adi nama atra adi asti kalu, karmadi iti. Adi nama seva nama rupadi abhava rupascha. So bhaktau vayam bhaktyam pragati karaniyas seva aparadaha apitu nama aparadaha na kartavyam. Apradhan na kartavyam iti. Agre vayam chachayishyamah te ke bhavanti iti. So etad bhavati kalu, tasya gauna lakshanam idanim chintayamah. Gauna lakshanam nama anya abhilashita shunyam. So to spot and tell, just like we don't desire anything from doing bhakti, we don't desire subtle things or gross things, like for example wealth or fame, prestige. Of course, initially we may start with the desire, but we know for sure eventually I want to come to the platform of where I don't have the desire. It's not that we hold on to the desire all through. We know what is the goal, what is Uttamā Bhakti by this definition. Then we know where we are. Then we know, actually I want to get there, Krishna, but I have all these desires right now. So, but please help me get there. That's the desire. So basically, Anya Abhilashita Shunyam. Right now we are not like very, very obsessed with those desires, but they may be lingering in our heart. That's what. So what is the goal of bhakti then? Bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya. So the goal of bhakti is go to higher levels of bhakti. If right now, as I said, adau shraddha sadhu sangha bhajana kriya etad agrimasya kakshayam vayam charchayishyamah. स्तराः सन्ति, स्तराः. अतः अग्रे गन्तव्यम् इति एव अभिलाषा अस्ति. अन्ततो गत्वा प्रेम प्राप्तिः एव. सो ज्ञान कर्मादि अनावृतम्. ओके, ज्ञान नाम किम्? एतत् निर्भेद ब्रह्मानुसन्धानं नाम निर्भेद विचाराः सन्ति खलु एकस्मिन् दर्शने. नाम भगवतः कोऽपि भेदः नास्ति, गुणाः नास्ति इति. तस्य बहु ज्ञानं न दातव्यं. नाम बहु अभिरुचि वा नाम श्रवणं वा न कर्तव्यं. यतोहि तत् विपरीततया गच्छति. नाम भक्ति इति करणीयश्चेत् two objects are necessary, a person who is doing the bhakti and a person who is receiving bhakti. So atah dvaitam eva svikarniyam bhavati. Natu bhajaniya tattvanu sandhanam. So for related to bhakti, we need to still study Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Etat tattvam, Bhakti tattvam asti. Tasya na tad na tyaktavyam. No, tad tasya jnanam praptavyam. Parantu kim tyaktavyam iti aham uktavati. अपि तु कर्म नाम किं? कर्मादि अनावृतं. कर्मेण अनावृतं भवेत्. किं कर्म इत्युक्ते स्मार्त नित्य नैमित्तिकादि न तु भजनीय परिचर्यादि. एतस्य विषये अग्रे भविष्यति. किमर्थं स्मार्त नित्य नैमित्तिकादि अनावृत्ति भवेत् इत्युक्ते अत्र अस्ति. नित्यकर्म अकरणे श्रुतौ वयं श्रुतवन्तः नित्यकर्म करणे प्रत्यवायः भवति इति प्रत्यवाय नाम नेगेटिव रियाक्शन. So in Shruti it's given, vidhis are given like sandhya vandanam karaniyam, nitya naimittika etad bhavati kalu. So if you don't do sandhya vandana, you don't get positive result. If you do sandhya vandana, you don't get positive result. But if you don't do, you get negative reaction. So that's got given in Shruti. But tad bhayat shraddhaya etad sarvani karoti chet tad bhakti avrunoti. Bhaktim avrunoti tad. परन्तु करणीयं वा न करणीयं वा इत्युक्ते अतः शून्यमिति न उक्तम्. अन्याभिलाषिता शून्यमिति न, एतत् शून्यं परन्तु अत्र अनावृतम् इति उक्तं. नाम लोकसंग्रहणार्थं करणीयं भवति. To set a right example, we may have to do shraddha for our parents, or all the day. If we are born in a Brahmin family, whatever is required, we may do. But do it ashraddhaya. Like, don't put your full faith into it, that this is going to give me the ultimate result. Ashraddhaya api kevalam, to set a right example we do, but our heart, our life is towards bhakti. You understand, right? Sometimes we have to do things for, even though our heart is not there, we have to do. If, for example, in our MA, right, there are some subjects we have to study because it's part of curriculum, we don't have a choice. Even though we don't have our heart in it, we don't have interest in it, we have to study just for the sake of finishing the degree. So like that, just for the sake of maintaining the social status, or set a right example so other people don't get a wrong this thing, that they devotees are disturbing the society by doing giving up all the social customs, then they continue to do that. Okay, but otherwise
I will share this one clipping with our acharyas where you said MS.
But Seema Bhagini, please be merciful. At least let me get my degree. They told August somewhere they are going to give the degree. So after that you can do. Okay. So you understand, right, what I'm hinting at. Okay. Yeah. So ataha like shraddhaya na kartavyam. Tata eva. Ataha tena na anavrutam. Tad na karaniyam iti na, parantu karoti chet श्रद्धा पूर्वकेन न कर्तव्यम्. अपि तु भयात् करणीयं न करोति चेत् प्रत्यवाय भवति इति किमपि न चिन्तनीयं. यतोहि वयं straight we are taking shelter of Krishna, so once we get his shelter, we don't have to worry about all the other things. Okay, that's the whole point. And adi nama atra yajna vairagya yaga Bhakti-tattva. So even we don't put lot of emphasis or study or practice of normal Vedic yajna. First of all, we are not qualified. We are not Aivarnikas to get the Vedic yajnas. And Vairagya means for this we will have a separate session. What is the real Vairagya in Bhakti? There is something called Yukta Vairagya. There is something called Phalgu Vairagya. So we'll discuss that in separate session. And yoga also, like, even though we don't wholesome, we don't accept it, but we can do whatever is necessary for maintaining our body. Some pranayama, everything are maybe useful for step to keep our mind stable. So we can do our japa nicely and focus on Krishna's form before dhyana. So that as elements can be taken, and which can be favorably associated with bhakti. No, anushangika rupena vayam nama, we can, as much as we can dovetail, or rather it will help us in our bhakti, we can accept them, but not as whole soul philosophy, we are subscribing to that. That's what it's telling. Okay, so I think you got it. Because the thing is, there is enough of subject matter and enough of practice to be done just in bhakti, that we don't have time to even spend time in this new topics to learn. And ultimately maybe people want to do because they have curiosity for learning. So why don't, if at all we are fortunate, then we feel, oh, why do I learn all these things? Let me learn something really which is benefiting me this life and next life. That intelligence will come. Manushyanam sahasreshu eva tad bhavati. No chet itastatah etad jnanam prapya, like that, we keep acquiring knowledge and keep going like this, life after life. Okay. Prabhedaha chachayishyamaha. So Uttama bhaktau api prabhedaha santi. Trida iti uktam. Sa bhaktihi, nama uttama bhaktihi, sadhanam, bhavaha, prema. Iti trida asti. So sadhana bhaktihi, nama the devotional service in practice basically. Cheshta rupa bhakti. So we use our senses to do the service. So cheshta rupa, like eyes, ears, hands, legs, everything. Okay, this is also called, this is namantarani. Sadhana rupa or upaya bhakti. Okay, so this is called devotional service in practice. So Srila Prabhupada calls it as apprenticeship. So like before you become a doctor, 1 year you do some research with some other professor who teaches you how to do it. So later when you do the real surgery, people have confidence that you don't do major mess. So this is a devotional service in practice, and then we'll go to sadhya bhakti. Actually, this thing can be categorized in 2 categories: sadhana bhakti, sadhya bhakti. Sadhya means a goal. So after doing sadhana bhakti, we are meant to come to this stage, bhava and prema. So sadhya bhakti bhavati, actually these are 8 stages in this. Ashtaha santi. Bhava, prema, pranaya, sneha, raga, mana, anuraga, mahabhava iti. So sarvesham lakshanam udaharanani sarvam dattam bhakti rasamrita sindhu. Parantu atra etad bhavati nama upalakshanartameva amshadvayameva uktamasti. Tatapi bhava premeti dvibheda vedatvena ukti tu upalakshanartameva. Okay, this is just for indicating he has put the 2 symptoms, but actually beginning with bhava we are getting into the realm of prema basically. And there are so many higher levels of exhibiting that prema. Of course, this happens in the spiritual body. No, manasika bhavati. Anyway, we'll discuss that also. Okay. In this body, we cannot directly interact with Krishna, but when we get the Siddha Rupa, we can participate in the Leela and have this exchange. Okay, Sadhya Rupa, Namantarani, Sadhya Rupa, Hardha Rupa. See, this is a difference actually. Once we come to Bhava and Prema, our emotions are involved. Our heart is involved. So far until Bhava, like, this is Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti. Until Asakti, maybe max Asakti, intelligence is involved and all the senses are involved. But still we may be doing mechanically where our heart is something else. We have affection for our family members of the world, but not to Krishna. So, but then when we come to the stage of bhava, we have again beginning to feel emotions for Krishna, like that. So that's what is called bhava bhakti. Vadatu, Seema Bhagini.
भगिनी अत्र चेति त्रिधो दिता इत्युक्ते त्रीणि प्रकरणानि वा?
These are not prakaranani, these are levels actually.
So त्रिधो दिता इत्युक्ते त्रिधा?
Three of them, trida. See, sadhanam, bhava, prema. These are 3. But I have categorized them into different bucket again. So this is sadhana bhakti, and this is sadhya bhakti. Because that's why color coding I've put. This is sadhana bhakti, this is sadhya bhakti. And in sadhya bhakti, there are only 2 mentioned here, but actually there are 8 of them. That's what I was saying. Bhava, prema, pranaya, everything, 8 of them. Okay, this is actual as it is sutra, but then we are kind of going deep into it to understand a little bit more what is there in that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So bhave, we have emotions connected to Krishna. See, for example, gopis tell when they see that Krishna, when they're gopi gite gitayam te vadanti tah vadanti, like when we see that you are going barefoot to cow herding, our hearts are anxious. Your feet is so soft that when we put it on our chest, we feel that there may be, scratches on your feet. And now you're walking with without any footwear, and all these thorns and pebbles are going to prick. And and that is kalilatam manasi. So our hearts are getting what to say, agitated to think that you are walking on these thorns and pebbles, and it's going to hurt your feet. So their feelings, they're expressing their feelings. So that is like bhava and prema. So that's what in Raganuga Bhakti we'll discuss more in this concept. How gradually we can come to also that level, and all these things. Okay. So Hridi, Hardha Rupa. The heart is involved in this now. No more mechanically we are doing, but we have a relationship, like, feelings towards Krishna. Raga asti. Okay, this is devotional service in perfection. Okay, now Prabhedaha agre. Again, so this is like a chart. If I have to put everything in one chart, I think this makes it clear. Seema Bhagini, I should have put this earlier, but Uttama
Ma'am.
Bhaktau, Sadhana, Sadhya, Sadhye, Bhava, Prema, iti Ashtaha. Okay? Okay, clear. So now we'll go to what is Sadhana Bhakti. Okay? What is the definition for Sadhana Bhakti? As I mentioned, it's performed with the senses. So Kriti Sadhya Bhavet Sadhya. Oh, okay. Okay, Narsima, try to sing. You sing better than me. Oh.
कृतिसाध्या भवेत् साध्या भावा सा भावा सा साधनाभिधा नित्यसिद्धस्य भावस्य प्राकट्यं हृदि साध्यता.
Okay. So, okay, one thing I have to mention, this slide, somehow last minute, I got lot of office work, everything. So I didn't have to spend lot of time, reading the Vyakhyana, everything for all these things. I would have done that actually to do a better presentation, but somehow until last minute scrambled something and put it together. So this is really a test for me now, from what I remember from my lectures, how will I explain and things like that. So let's see. Okay, hopefully I will not convey wrong information. Okay, so Kriti Sadhya, Kriti Nama, like the senses basically. So it's accomplished by Kritibihi Sadhya. Okay, Sadhana Bhakti Kritibihi Sadhyate. Parantu Kim Sadhaniyam Antato Gatva Ityukte Bhava Sadhaniyam. So this is a goal. So it's done by the senses to accomplish the stage of Bhava. Avagatam va? Sadhyah Bhavaha Yena or Yaihi Saha. Okay? Or what to say? Yabihi Sa. Tadbhavati Sadhana Bhakti. Got it? Sadhyah Bhavaha Yabihi Sa Bhavati Sadhana Bhakti. Parantu Krutibihi Sadhyah Bhavati. You understood, right? Everybody understood? Maruti understood? Huh? Maruti? Okay, you're able to understand it? Okay. Sa sadhana abhida. That's a name called sadhana bhakti. Nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatyam kriti sadhyata. So atra asti nama nitya siddha bhaktasya tasya bhavaha gradually kramena asmakam hrudi siddhyati. It gets manifested. It's prakatyam bhavati. See, bhakti is not something which can be produced of this world. It's completely para iti vayam charchitam kalu, asmabhi charchitam kalu, bhakti nama antaranga shakti vritti asti bhakti. Ataha katam va asmin hrudi nama sharire nama asmakam manasi katam va statum shaknoti ityukte, we have to get that bhakti from another person's heart. Nitya siddhasya bhaktasya bhavasya asmakam hridi prakatyam bhavati kramena. Okay, kramashaha. So that's why the association of devotees becomes very crucial in bhakti marga. That's what we'll discuss. We'll cover a separate session for that. So kriti sadhya means cheshtena karoti, namas, with the senses he does. Also another example is given, Narada Pancharatra. It says Hrishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam. Hrishika nama senses. So with the senses we serve Hrishikesha. Kaha Hrishikesha? Sri Krishna. Hrishikānām īshah iti Hrishikesha. Tasya sevanam bhakti uchyate. Okay, that's the same thing. And okay, see, this Jiva Goswami vadati, no katam va sadhana bhakti uttama bhaktyau pravishati ityukte. Uttama bhakti is supposed to be like, we can imagine it's a pure devotion, right? But then in the sadhana stage, we are just practicing how to engage my eyes, ears, nose in Krishna service. How can that be considered as Uttama Bhakti ityukte? Jiva Goswami vadati, yata vayam yagnartam yagnam kartum bahu anushangika kriyani kurmaha. Anushangikani kriyani. Nama shuddham nama आचमनम किमपि सिद्धता करणीयं यज्ञमण्डपम् एतत् सर्वं करणीयं खलु एतत् सर्वमपि यज्ञे एव अन्तर्भवन्ति नाम they are all leading towards the final action of yajna, but at the same time you cannot say they are separate. Without these you cannot perform the full yajna. So similarly, because the desire is to come to the pure stage, and right now we are in a raw stage of practicing, still because our goal is to come to that stage, these are also comes under Uttama Bhakti. See, Krutyaha tad antarbhavaha. Tadantar nama Uttama Bhaktau antarbhavaha bhavati. Purva kriyayaha yajna antarbhavavatcha. Yata purva kriyayaha yajne antarbhavanti. Tatha eva etat krutyaha. Nama activities we do with the senses also come under the Uttama Bhakti platform. Okay, so there's no confusion there. So, apitu namantarani etadvayam asmabhi charchitam shesharupa bhakti sadhana rupa upaya bhakti devotional service and practice. So atra ekam prashtavyam bhavati. Okay, I will try to create a doubt in your hearts. Let's see if somebody can get the doubt. See, we discussed Krishna as para, right? Spiritual. Krishnasya nama guna leela sarve spiritual asti. Antarangika shaktyam asti kalu santi te sarve. But asmakam shariram tu prakritam asti. Nama material asti. Bhautika shariram asti. Panchabhutaihi bhutabhihi nirmitam asti. Bhutabhihi nirmitam asti kalu. Earth, water, no? Bhumi, rapo, analo, vayu, kammano, buddhi, revacha. So katam va vayam Krishnam nama, how can we access the spiritual entity through this material body and senses? Oh, I only asked the question. Okay. Okay, everybody understood the question? Bhargavi Bhagini, Sima Bhagini. Got it. Yeah. Got it, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
this doubt, I think initially in one of the classes I raised this question. You know, how can with this body and senses we can make progress in something spiritual? No, so that's the question basically. That's the very crux of the matter. So that's what we'll discuss now with Pramanani. Atha Sri Krishna Namadina Bhaved Grahyam Indriyaihi Sevonmukhehi Jitpadau Swayameva Spuratyadaha. So the clue is we cannot manifest, we cannot produce. Swayameva Spurati. On its own, it has to descend. Okay, that's why Sri Krishna Namadi Indriyaihi na grahyam bhavet. We cannot grab Krishna with our senses. Parantu sevonmukhe, based on our service attitude. Jikhvado, beginning with our tongue. With the tongue we chant the holy names, we eat prasadam, we talk and glorify Krishna. And then other senses are engaged like that. But our intent is to please Krishna and to serve Krishna. Based on that intent, to that extent, how sincere we are, Swayameva Spurati. That bhakti potency descends on us. So this nice picture Maruti collected, so I put it. So he'll be happy. He likes these pictures. Maruti, you're happy with this picture? Okay. Okay. So, Eta Jiva Goswami vadati. Etad Uttama Bhakti, Krishna tad Bhakta Krupaya eva eka labhyam. So how can we get this Uttama Bhakti? Krishnasya va tad Bhaktasya Krupaya eva labhyam. Okay. Shri Bhagavataha Swarupa Shakti Vritti Rupam. Bhakti ka ityukte Bhagavataha Swarupa Shakti Vritti. I mentioned earlier also. This is a function of the internal potency of the Lord. Bhakti. Okay. So vritti means function, activity or function of the internal potency, Swarupa Shakti or Antarangika Shakti. Ataha aprakritam. That's why it's not material. It's transcendental, spiritual. Api, even then, Kayadi Vritti Tadatmyena Eva Tatra Tatra Avirbhutam Iti Gneyam. Even then, Kayadi, whatever actions we are performing, because of doing for Krishna, it can get Avirbhuta manifested within. So when we chant Krishna's name, initially it's just syllables. Ka, r, all, we know grammar, right? Anupurvi bhavati. We were just syllables only. But how can it really be the Krishna whom we are in a spiritual world, the pure name of Krishna, like that? It's based on our service attitude. The real name descends on our tongue, and gradually Krishna's name, form, Leela, Guna, everything gets revealed to us, like that. So that's the principle actually. This is a Siddhanta, and the Siddhanta is called Atidesha principle. This is actually principle of Vyakarana also. So I'll try to, Atidesha means, what is Purvasya Gunaha Samagritaya Pare Atidishtaha Bhavanti. So let's say there are two entities. One entity, for example, is the spiritual world, Goloka, which is in spiritual nature, creation. But whereas we have Gokula here, let's say, or temple. Because of a pure devotee's desire, there is a murti he establishes and he makes that a temple. And it is said this temple is non-different from Vaikunta. So how did it become non-different from Vaikunta? Because of the principle of Atidesha. So because of the pure devotee's desire, the qualities and the features of the spiritual world have descended, on the material realm here. That same thing is for Vigraha, Shri Vigraha. They are made of metal or wood or Dharu Brahma, like that, right? But we treat them non-different from the Lord because of the Aditesha principle. Because of pure devotee's desire, there is Prana Pratishta, Tatra, the Avirbhutaha Bhavati, Ataha. So you understood, right? This Atitishta principle, the same there in Vyakarana example is there. I think I don't want to discuss that example here, that will become too much. Same principle is there in Vyakarana also. That's an example for the sutra for that. Okay. You understood, right? Now they understood the clarity. Is it clear now how this whole thing works?
Yes.
Okay, good. So the principle of Atidesha, we should not forget. Okay, sadhanayaha prabhedaha. Okay, where we are, I'm taking. Okay. Now, within Vaidhī-sādhanā also, sadhana also, there are divisions. Okay, don't worry, Agre, I will extend the chart, so it will be easy for you. Just follow now. Okay, I think this is the chart actually. Oh, this is a chart. Good. Okay. So, Vaidhi, Raganuga, Cheti, Sadvida, Sadhana, Abhida. So, sadhana also, there are two types. These are types of sadhana. Okay. So, the initial, what we discussed is the levels of progress. You understood, right, Seema? See, these are levels of progress that we'll discuss in the next class. How we gradually go from Shraddha to Bhava to Prema. That are progresses. They're stages of advancement. But these are types of sadhana. There are two types of sadhana. One is called Vaidhī-sādhanā. Other one is called Raganuga-sādhanā. Raganuga-sādhanā we'll discuss in next class. Today we'll discuss on Vaidhī-sādhanā. And I'm looking at the time. Okay. Okay, so I think few more slides. So we'll discuss a little bit of Vaidhī-sādhanā, what it is. Okay. So Vaidhī-sādhanā nama. Okay, can somebody read? Maharati, try to read this.
Yatra rāgānavāptatvaāt pravrittirupajāyate shāsane naiva shāstrasya sa vaidhi bhaktiruchyate.
So yatra ragaha nasti. Raga nama, attachment to Krishna. What is raga? Definition will come later. Now only, in a second. So raga nasti. Parantu shastrasya shasanena vayam pravrittihi bhavati asmakam. Chet tad bhavati vaidhi sa bhavati vaidhī-sādhanā bhakti. Nama shastraha vadati. Smartavya satatam Vishnu vismartavyo na jatuchit sarva vidhi nishedaha syu etayoreva kinkaraha. So Shastra Padma Purana vadati satatam Vishnum smartavyaha tam kadapi na jatuchit nama kadapi na vismartavyaha iti Shastra vadati. Shastram kena ritya vadati ityukte, it gives an order from Prabhu Samitam. It gives an order. It uses a Vidhiling Lakara, it uses a Tavyat Pratyaya, and he says, you have to do it, you must do it. You must always remember Vishnu. You should never forget Vishnu. Like that, it gives order, Vidhi, Sarva Vidhi. And all the rules and regulations are the servants of this principle. That's what is the ultimate. When we discuss in Vaidhī-sādhanā Bhakti, there's so many rules and regulations are there. But ultimately, what is the pinnacle of the application is that you do whatever is practical in a way that you always remember Vishnu and never forget Vishnu. Okay. So now the question is, what is the raga? Here explaining. So Bhakti Sandarbhe, Jiva Goswami, Laukika Udaharanam Pradarshitva, Vadati Raga Namaki Mityukte. Iti. So Kopi Patitum Shaknoti, Seema Bhagini Patatu.
अस्तु तत्र विषयणीः स्वाभाविको विषय संसर्गेच्छातिशयमयः प्रेमा रागः यथा चक्षुरादीनां सौन्दर्यदौ तादृश एवात्र भक्तस्य श्री भगवती अपि राग इत्युच्यते.
Visarga lopa astyatra. Okay. So what is defining raga as? First, it's taking a laukika example. Vishayinaha nama ke vishayan anubhoktum ichchati. Vishayin iti pratipadikam. Vishayinaha swabhavikaha bhavati kalu. Vishaya samsarga ichcha. He has a natural inclination to come in contact with the sense objects. Vishaya nama sense objects. Udaharane yata chakshuradinam saundaryadav. So automatically the eyes want to see something beautiful, ears want to hear something very, very pleasant, right? So automatically even the sense enjoyers also have this pulling, right? As soon as especially in youth we can see young boys there, let's say they go to school and they see a beautiful girl, that's it, they cannot even focus on the class. All the time they'll be looking, oh, how is she smiling? How is she acting? That's all. Fully absorbed in that natural inclination, without any, nobody has to teach them. Nobody has to teach a young boy, that you get attracted to this girl. It becomes very natural. Now our boys are becoming teenage. So I'm all the time, talking about this only. Narsimha worries, Amma, what is this? I said, no, don't worry. It's natural. Just you need to figure out how to, don't get distracted, but focus in Krishna consciousness. So you can pass through this stage. So like that, so samsargecha atishayamaya, extreme. It's not a simple desire. Sometimes, after the class, they go home and the boy whole night will be thinking how that girl smiled. Oh, she looked at me. Maybe she likes me. That's all. Whole night he will be absorbed in that and thinking about it, right? So that intense absorption, intense pulling, that is called raga. Okay. See how wonderful Jiva Goswami, he is giving us the definition in a way we can easily relate. All of us relate to this, right? We know all this pulling, we experienced it, or maybe even experiencing. Or for example, eating, let's say, even though we have diabetes, but we love sweets for some reason, let's assume, and somebody gave a gift pack of rasgullas, then how much you have to control yourself to not eat that, unless you have the strength through bhakti, where you have ability to tolerate. Remember, imagine, right, how much pulling will be there. So that is the innate organic, or what to say, innate intense attachment. That same attachment, if the devotee has towards Krishna, that becomes raga in bhakti. So everybody understand the principle, right, of raga?
Astu.
Okay. So now the question is, now come back to Vaidhī-sādhanā. What does it mean? Raga anavaptatvat means initially there's no raga. We don't have that intense attachment to Krishna. So because there is no raga, but because there is the Shastra Shasana, then we are doing our activities. Oh, because Vishnu Smartavya, It's given in scripture that we should chant, or Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu says there are 64 principles of Vaidhi Bhakti, so I have to follow, because I know eventually I will get prema, or I will at least be able to handle the miseries in my life. I'll be peaceful. So many things, right? Based on all these motivations, because Shastra has said. So that becomes our dictate, mandate, but not our natural inclination for Lord, because it's not awakened yet. We don't have it yet. Okay. So that's why it's called Vaidhī-sādhanā. Based on the vidhis, we do that. Okay. Namantarani Maryada Marga iti Vallabhacharyasya Sampradaye Maryada Marga iti uchyate tasyam eva. That all tameva. So adhikari kaha iti charchayishyamah. यः केनापि अति भाग्येन जातशब्दोस्य सेवने. Okay, we can sing nicely, it's better than this. यः केनाप्यति भाग्येन जातशब्दोस्य सेवने नातिसक्तो न वैराग्यभाग् अस्याम अधिकार्यसौ. So अस्याम नाम वैदि भक्त्याम कः अधिकारी भवति इत्युक्ते असौ कः भवति इत्युक्ते यस्य केनापि अतिभाग्येन, because of great fortune, jata shaddah asya sevane, krishnasya sevane, nama bhaktyam, in the form of bhakti, krishnasya sevane shaddah asti chet. Shaddah nama shastra artha vishwasaha. Shaddah asti chet, parantu कीदृश भवति भवेत् सः इत्युक्ते न अति आसक्तः अपितु न वैराग्यभाग्. So it should not be too materially attached, and it should not be too materially detached. We should be in a middle state. Then he can really progress sadhana bhakti properly and come to the bhava bhakti. So this is where we have to discuss a little bit about these principles. Why these two criteria are given? Na ati asaktaha. See, imagine if you have ati asakta for the enjoyment, bhoga, then anybody would like to, it's basically it goes into fruitive activities, or you're always seeking something, you're restless, always you cannot be peaceful, you want to material more and more wealth, or more and more money, or wife, or beautiful wife, or children, something, all material. So you will not be able to focus on sadhana bhakti properly as it's given. You get distracted. Okay. Similarly, and ati vairagya api na apekshitam. Ati vairagya kim bhavati ityukte, kim karoti ityukte, the heart, it's as if like scraping the heart with a sandpaper. So gradually, the heart will not there eventually. So for bhava and prema, you need the receptacle. The heart should be there to have the emotions. So and mainly the heart has to be softened. So the process of bhakti, that's what it does. It makes the heart very soft, so that you can have that emotions for Krishna. So by too much vairagya, the heart will become hard. We'll become very insensitive. See, vairagya, what it does is, okay, I don't care. See, my husband other day was telling, when he was 14 years, his father passed away. When father was 45 years. And that too, it was, he kind of killed himself in the sense that he was drinking, addicted to drinking. And because of liver damage, he passed away. And my husband was the third child, and he was 14 years only. So later, as he grew up, he actually scolds his father so much that he didn't really do much to us, and he just didn't take responsibility, and he left. But other day, we heard a news that somebody's father passed away. Then I was like, oh, this boy, how will he deal with it? He's so young, he's not married, so much responsibility. I was feeling like this. Then my husband was telling, actually, whenever I hear somebody passed away, I don't, feel anything. That's all. People move on. The wife and children, they know how to deal with it. They move on. That's matter of life, he was telling. Of course, that's, at a practical level, yes, that is a principle. But then there is some kind of insensitivity in the heart, right? So that makes the heart very hard, in the sense that you cannot relate with people's emotions. See, we are not just having emotions for Krishna. we are seeing everybody as Krishna's servant and part and parcel. So we feel the compassion that nobody has this knowledge and they're suffering. How I can go and help them like this, unless we have that sensitive heart, soft heart, how can we have that feelings towards others, compassion towards others? So that's why, of course, in the process of bhakti, there are the 64 items. It'll be given later. Of course, we'll not discuss 64 of them, but there are principles where we say, we will withdraw from sense enjoyment in a way that so that, otherwise, how will we make progress in bhakti? That is there. But it's all given in a very balanced way. So as long as we follow the acharyas properly, the principles they have given, say, for example, we also do austerities in bhakti, Ekadashi Vrata and Janmashtami. That's the biggest austerity, where until midnight, until Krishna appears, we have to fast. That is the Acharana Paddhati of Janmashtami. Bhishma Panchaka is the 5 days. One more day is Nirjala Ekadashi, where that Ekadashi, other Ekadashi, at least we can use eat non-grains. But Nirjala Ekadashi, it is said that it's done specifically for Bhima, where if at all he missed other Ekadashi, if he does one Nirjala Ekadashi without water, he gets the same benefit as other Nirjala Ekadashis. So we also try to stretch ourselves and do. So we have our set of austerities, but these are all connected to bhakti, and this will help in make our heart soft. And mainly the principle of Ekadashi is that so you withdraw from more eating, but rather you focus on more sadhana or japa or kirtan or something like more devotional. The emphasis is not on stop eating, emphasis is more on do positive things, basically. That's the point. Okay, so oh wow. Okay, so this is the principle. I will not read this, but I will summarize this for you. So we discussed, right, the 4 kinds of people who come: Arti, Artharti, Jignasu, Chaturvida Bhajante Mam. So for those people also, if they take up sadhana bhakti, what will happen is Bhagavatah kripa syat, tat priyasya kripa, nama devotees kripa. By both of their mercy, tat kshina bhavaha bhavati. No, their initial intensity for that particular material, intensity in desire, will become gradually slackened. Kshina bhavati. Then Shuddha Bhaktyam Adhikaravan bhavanti te. Okay, examples are given. Yata Ibaha is Gajaha. Shaunakadihi Dhruvaha Chatursanaha. So I created a table for this and what was their initial inclination and how they got purified. So Gajendra Arti Nashecha Tasyasti. Now he was very distressed, right? Because crocodile was holding him. He tried for 1,000 years. So he was so much in pain. So initially he wants to get out of this painful situation. That was his desire. But gradually, dukkha nivaranasya abhilasha gatam. Gradually. Okay. Then he became Shuddha Bhakti. Oh, then finally he does wonderful prayers he offers in 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then Shaunakadi Muniganaha. Sutta Goswami, he describes the entire Srimad Bhagavatam to Shaunakadi Muni in Naimisharanya. So they all had desire for Swarga. So that they gave up and they became pure devotees. Dhruva Maharaj is a classic story. He wanted a kingdom bigger than grandfather Brahma itself. Then he gave up that desire and finally he says a wonderful prayer. He says, oh Lord, actually Vishnu comes in front of him. He says that seeing you, I'm feeling so happy that now I feel you are like a diamond in front of me, and I was looking for a broken pieces of glasses before. Broken piece of glass. I was after broken piece of glass, and you are like a diamond in front of me. I don't want kingdom, he says now. But he says, no, you already asked for it, and it's good for this thing, so you have to rule. There's no option. That's why we should be careful what is our initial motivation. Because if Krishna is, feels like you are the qualified candidate to rule the planet, he may give you the kingdom also. So, whether we want Krishna's association, pure love, or, temporarily do the ruling kingdom and then go to Krishna, it's all based on, our initial inclinations. Okay. Then Sanakadaya Chatushana. This is Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana. These are Brahma Kumaras. Chaturmukha Brahmasya Kumara. Mokshecha. They even went to Vaikunta. They went to Vaikunta, but then when they smelled this very nice, beautiful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, when they smelled the the aroma coming from the tulsi mixed with the sandalwood paste from the lotus feet of Narayana, then immediately they develop desire to serve Narayana. Okay, so that's they gradually, they were impersonalists actually. They were what is this impersonal woman they were seeking, but they started to become pure devotees of the Lord. So that's how we see. So even though we start with initial inclinations, no need to worry. With good association, good training, see, Bhagavataha kripa apitu bhaktasya kripa, with both of that mercy we will be able to overcome that initial pulling and then become fixed ourselves in Shuddha Bhakti. Actually, I can tell my example also. Maybe I didn't share it with anybody, right? Very briefly. So when I came to Krishna consciousness also, that's what happened. I was in US. I finished my education, masters, and then I got a job in Microsoft alone. I was not married that time. I went to Seattle. Then something happened in my life where I was very much depressed for 6, 7, 8 months. I was crying, 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 not knowing how to handle the situation, everything. So much depressed that finally one inspiration came from my heart that, okay, go to Bhagavad Gita. It will give solution to all the problems in life. Then I started looking for Bhagavad Gita. Then luckily, Krishna pulled me into devotee association. Then even though initial motive was I'm so miserable, how do I, become happy? That was just flickering initially only. Then when I got exposed to this full knowledge and the goal of life and the process and devotees and so many things, I was like, the whole new world opened for me. Then I felt, wow, I got a new goal. Now it's no longer, I have to get rid of my distress. Otherwise, it was just get rid of distress. Then after 6 months, I would have stopped this whole process. I would have gone back and did some material thing. But then because this took over, this goal that I have to get prema for Krishna took over my consciousness, that I firmly decided that I want to marry a person who is also in similar like-minded, and somehow the whole other life story unfolds. And my husband also was coming to the same temple, and devotees arranged our marriage, and things like that. Okay, so that's very crucial. So the bhakti has a shakti to cleanse our initial inclinations. Okay, now we get to, I think we will take 10 more minutes. We'll wrap it up because we will not discuss everything. There are 64 limbs. They are listed in Angani. But I have listed only 20 most important things. So first 10 are called do's. In that, I just wanted to highlight, we will not read also all this one by one, but I wanted to just show you the importance of, in sadhana bhakti, the importance of diksha or the importance of guru ashraya. So it's very important. It's listed in almost first five rules. The Guru Padashrayaha, Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam. So basically taking shelter of a spiritual master and getting Diksha. There's a principle called initiation or Diksha. This also we will discuss very much detail when we discuss about Karma Vimukti, Katam Prapyate iti, Tasmin, complete session we will discuss. In that we'll touch upon Diksha, whom should we take Diksha from, what is our eligibility for Diksha, when should we take Diksha, all these things we'll discuss. And then we have to get Siksha from people. And then Vishambena Guror Seva. With confidence and affection, we serve Guru. Because through service, this knowledge becomes realization for us. See, right now it's theoretical. Only through service, it becomes realizations in our heart. Okay. Then, of course, some people, many of us, will not be able to directly serve Guru. But Guru's instructions are non-different from Guru Vapu. There is Vapu and Vani. Both Seva we can do. So Vapu is the direct form and Vani is his instructions. So when we serve Guru's instructions, then we are connected to Guru. See, similarly, we have received instruction when actually our kids are born. Our spiritual master gave instruction that they will be, or actually blessing, that they will be scholars and preachers in Krishna consciousness movement. So we are trying to dovetail our life to fulfill that instruction. So that's how we are connected to our spiritual master, though he's far away. Every minute we meditate on the instruction, try to improve the service in that regard. So that's how it is. Okay. Then sadhu vartmanu vartanam. So follow in the pure devotee's path, sadhus. So there are three things actually: Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. This is a triangle. Always there's a cross-check balance between them. Whether Guru and Sadhu and Shastra, everybody is telling the right thing. Because in this day and age, many sannyasis also, unfortunately, after some years, they are not able to follow their conduct. so we take somebody as a spiritual master and something happens to them, then we will not be able to progress further because our faith is disturbed. But we have sadhu janas, like-minded devotees who are more advanced than us. We can take their guidance, and then Shastra is there. So, like the three of them has to be always in cross check. Suddenly, if you hear something from Guru, which you feel you have not heard in the Shastra, then okay, I don't know whether this is the right Guru, like that, all these things. Okay. Then Sadharma Pricha, inquiring from Guru about principles of pure bhakti. And all these things are there. If you can take a screenshot also, you can, take a look in detail later. And also, if you want, I can send you the link where all the 64 items are listed, at least in the English short form. I can send you that later also. Okay. Now we'll go to the first 10 are the do's and the next 10 are the don'ts. So this is like main thing I have highlighted, which I want to discuss here. See, this Seema Bhagini asks all the time. So Anya Devata Deva Anavagnya. Okay. So not disrespecting other deities. That's one of the principles of sadhana bhakti. So it's not that, okay, we got Krishna who is Parabrahma, who is, Avatari, he is Amshi. Okay, I got Krishna, now I don't care about others. It's not like that. Everybody has their position. Everybody are going to help us in our journey. We need as much help as possible. So we don't disrespect anybody. Of course, one thing is there. Our worshipable deity is Krishna. In our altar, the pedestal position we give only to Krishna. Other people, we offer respect and we seek help from them as the Lord has designated them. For example, Sharada Devi is in charge of knowledge. So we can ask her, please make my vak shuddhata karotu iti. Right? And Vignaharta Ganesha. So we can ask him, if you are doing some spiritual endeavor, please, Ganesha, please remove obstacles. We can do like that. But of course, everything Krishna alone can do. He can remove the obstacles, he can give knowledge, he can do still. But then why to bother Krishna for other things if other people can help us? We can go to Krishna. He is busy, playing with his friends and girls there. So why to bother him? We can ask him, please give me prema. That only he can give. So we can ask him that. Okay. Then other thing is not causing distress to any living being. Bhuta anudvega daita. As I said, we are compassionate to everybody, not just human beings, all the living beings. Like Narsimha, for example, he's very sensitive. He sees some ant in the bathroom, says, Amma, if I put water, it will drown, Amma, what should I do? So, sometimes I feel, Arey, Narsimha, they are meant to die like this only, leave it. I want to tell. But he's so sensitive. He wants to think about all these things. Next one is avoiding actions that cause aparadha. So, seva aparadha, nama aparadha, iti katyante, tan na kartavyam. Okay. Again, one is, see, this is also another thing. Intolerance towards blasphemy for Krishna and his devotees. See, one of the main principles for bhakti is called dainyata or humility. Okay. The real humility means if somebody offends you in person, like, if somebody says bad things about me, for example, I should tolerate. Okay. But at the same time, if somebody offends our gurus, gurujanas, or our parampara, or Krishna, or other devotees, we should not tolerate. If you have the ability, if it's shastrically, we can debate with them, we can debate. Or worst case, we have to walk away from there. We cannot sit and keep hearing the blasphemy of our gurujanas. So the one of the principles of sadhana bhakti. So that's why some people think, oh, devotees are meant to be peaceful, sadhus. Why they are now fighting back and scolding because I'm scolding Srila Prabhupada. If they ask, because of this principle. We are loyal to our Guru Parampara and we are grateful for the mercy we are receiving. So we cannot tolerate any blasphemy towards our disciplic succession. But for our one's own self, one can tolerate and accept this as my own reaction. This is what Tattenu Kampam Susamikshamano. Very nice verses there, where it describes how a devotee has to handle miseries he experiences because of his karmic reactions in this world. Okay. So last 4 are also very important. I've discussed the first 10 and the second 10. First 10 are do's, second 10 are don'ts. The last 5 are very, very important. Again, we will give a full session about all of this, importance of all of this, how to do it, everything. Because these are the 5 limbs which can expedite our path towards prema. Okay. So first is called deity worship. Okay, Srimurtehe Angri Sevane Visheshataha Preeti Shraddha cha. So worshipping the deity in the temple. The other one is called Srimad Bhagavatam Satsanga, in the association of devotees hearing Srimad Bhagavatam or speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. The other one is called Sadhu Sangha. As I mentioned, the devotees play a key role in our progress, the association with advanced devotees. And then Snigde, affectionate, who are well-wishers, whom you have trust that, they really want me to progress in bhakti. They are not envious, whom you have trust that. Then you can take their guidance. There are 6 ways of exchanging relationship with the devotee. What is this? Marti Smarate va Upadeshamrita asti kalu. What is this? But can you look up Marti, Nectar of Instruction? There is a verse which says 6 ways of Preeti Lakshanam, 3rd or 4th verse. Preeti Lakshanam, Shadvida Preeti Lakshanam iti bhavati ante. Okay, look up. Other one is, of course, that we'll discuss that in Sadhu Sangha section whenever we discuss. Other one is Nama Sankirtanam. This is a Yuga Dharma actually. So when we discuss the Yuga Dharma section, completely another section, that's when we will discuss what it means, congregational chanting, what is japa, what is kirtan, what is sankirtan, what's the differences between them, individually what I can do at home, what I can do collectively, all these things we'll discuss. Other one is living in the area of Mathura. So what does it mean living in Mathura? Now I am somewhere in Sringeri. How can I still live in Mathura? There is a way you can do it. So those things we'll discuss in detail later. Okay, what is this one? Now the question is, somebody may say, oh, the 64 limbs, should I do everything? I may not be interested so much in studying. I'm more like a person who likes to do service physically, but I don't like to sit and study books. So is it possible for me to just stick to one anga versus all the angas? Okay, so the question is, any anga you take, you can make progress. So, okay, who can read this? I think Bhargavi Bhagini, you can read. I didn't give you a chance today. Okay, you can read this.
Sa bhaktireka mukyanga asritanaika angikatava svavasananusarena nishtata siddhi kribhavet.
So, sa bhakti ekangi bhavitum arhati, no chet bahavaha mukyangan ashritya api bhavitum arhati. What is the criteria to choose which one we have to do is svavasananusarena. So this vasana inclinations have been cultivated like janma janmantare. So based on that inclination, automatically you get, no, I really want to hear Bhagavatam. I really like to do japa. I really like to, sing kirtan. Automatically. See, for example, between my 2 children, Narsima likes more kirtan, Maruti likes more study. No, we can see that automatically the inclination is so different. So there's no problem. Just only one thing is, especially in the Gauḍīya-Vaishnava parampara, when the Diksha happens, we make a promise in front of Guru that we do japa. Japa is kind of 16 mala of japa of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra we do. So that we make a promise. So that we do, that takes 2 hours, but gradually we can, anybody can come to that. But apart from that, rest of the day, because Satatam Smartavyam Vishnu Kalu. So rest of the day, we can choose our favorite limbs and engage fully in that willful absorption. So we can always remember Krishna. Okay, so that's the only thing there. So, okay, this is the final concluding slide. I really like this picture. So basically nighttime, they dress him with little ornaments. This is nighttime dressing. So I don't know whether you observed, the first picture I put usually is a daytime dressing with full ornaments. And when we conclude the last dressing, I usually put a nighttime dressing. Okay. So Adya Vayam Bhakteha Lakshanam Shrutavanta Uttamā Bhakteha Lakshanam. What is that? What is it? Anyavilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavrtam anukulyena krishnano shilanam bhaktiruttama. Okay, that we discussed. And then we discussed there are different 3 levels of bhakti. What is 3 levels? They're explained, but actually one is called sadhana bhakti. Other one, gradually you can come to prem, bhava and prema. But actually there are 8 categories within the bhava. The 8 of them are there. And sadhana bhakti is a devotional service in practice. And within that also there are 2 categories. One is called Vaidhī-sādhanā, other one based on the Shastra Shasanena, that we discussed today in as a high level overview. And because Shastra says we have to do, we do it. So that is the inclination rather than our innate natural raga for the Lord. That's not there yet. So we just do it because it is said we need to do. That's Vaidhī-sādhanā. Then Raganuga sadhana is what we will discuss in the next class. Then we also discussed what are the angani of Vaidhī-sādhanā. How do I do Vaidhī-sādhanā? Vaidhī-sādhanā is mainly done with Kriti Sadhya, Bhava Sadhya. So by doing the senses, we do Vaidhī-sādhanā, but we ultimate goal is to get the Bhava, come to the platform of Bhava. If that intention is there, then it's called sadhana bhakti. If that intention is not there, still we can do bhakti, as we discussed in the first class, first slide, kesham adhikara iti. Okay, even if the intention is not to come to bhava, we can still do the bhakti, but that will become bhakton. So we can generate bhakti unmukha sukruti, because janma janmantare pious credits we have to accumulate from many lives. So even if we cannot come to bhava in this lifetime, we are on the process, or even if that is not a strong inclination, still if we take shelter of Krishna, slowly we will develop that bhakti unmukha sukruti. So at some lifetime, then again we can get in touch with the Vaishnava principles and then take up the bhakti in earnest. It's possible. Manushyanam sahasreshu no chet bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudevam sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. Vasudeva, you are everything for me. That conclusion we will get after many lifetimes. Then that time we can fully take up the process sincerely, and everything will be facilitated that time for us to make the process completely. And we will also focus, vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandana. We'll be single pointed. Okay, in this life I don't want anything. That's it. I just want to use rest of my life in fully serving Krishna and try my best in, of course, this Bhava Prema, it's not something we can get it. It has to descend. It has to be given to us by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, right? So, and sadhus. So we try to do our best to attract their mercy. That's what we are doing actually. No, nothing. We are not generating anything. Okay. So from when we attract devotees' mercy, when they are compassionate, when they pray for us, when they pray to the internal potency, that's why Radharani becomes very important here, because Radharani is the personification of internal potency and she is the best lover of Krishna. So somehow, because she is soft-hearted, so somehow we can get her mercy. It's very easy to make progress in bhakti. Okay. Okay. So then let's do I hope there are no questions.
Tam vadami va? Kim?
Vadatu?
Dadati pratigruhnati guhyamakhyaati pruchati punkte bhojayate chaiva shadvidham priti lakshanam.
Dadati. Okay, so you give gifts. Pratigruhnati, receive gifts. Then you offer prasadam and you accept prasadam and you reveal one's mind and you hear others' realization. So these are the 6 ways of exchanges between devotees. So that we'll discuss in Sadhu Sangha. So I think there is no questions and comments. Nobody responded. So we'll go to Dhyanam. So Dhyanam is an example here of Ambarish Maharaj, how he used all his senses in Krishna service, Vishnu service. This is Parikrama. Okay. Okay, I think who will want to read this? Narsimha, Marathi, who wants to read? Okay, Narsimha wants to read.
स वै मनः कृष्णपदारविन्दयोर्वचांसि वैकुण्ठगुणानवर्णने करौरेर्मन्दिरमासनादिषु श्रुतिं चकाराच्युतस्कथोदये मुकुन्दलिङ्गालयदर्शने दृशौ तद्भृत्यगात्रस्पर्शेऽङ्गसङ्गमम् घ्राणं च तत्पादसरोजसौरभे श्रीमत्तुलस्या रसनां तदर्पिते पादौ हरेः क्षेत्रपदानुसर्पणे शिरो ऋषिकेशपदाभिवन्दने कामं च दास्येन तु कामकाम्यया यथोत्तमश्लोकजनशयारतिः.
Janashraya ratihi. So we can understand. Narsimha memorized the first 2 lines. He didn't memorize others. So he read slowly. Okay, right, Narsimha? Okay. So he read nicely. So we were able to understand as he reads. So I just put everything in the form of a table. And this is the same Krishna I love so much. So then with the mind, what he did? Krishna padara vindayoho dhyanam. So he did dhyana with the mind. With the words, Vaikunta gunanu varnanam. Okay. Karau, with the hands, cleaning the temple of the Lord. Harer mandira marjanadishu. Okay. Karnau, with the ears, Achyutasya satkatha shravanam. Drishtihi, eyes, Mukunda Lingalaya Darshanam. No, seeing the deity of the Lord. Okay, with the eyes. Sparshendriyam. No, Tad Bhrutya Gatra Sparshaha. Means touching the devotees of the Lord. Gatranam Shariram. Ghanendriyena Sri Tulasyaha Apitu Malyaha Saurabe. Malyaha Saurabam Granam. So Saurabasya Granam. Apitu Rasanaya tongue Rasanaya Rasanaha. Okay, the plural. Okay, Rasanaya Prasada Sevanam. Okay, Prasada Sevanam. Padau Hare Kshetra Padanu Sarpanam. Nama Parikrama Ityadi. Shiraha Rishikesha Padhabi Vandanam. We do Dandavat when we go to temple. So you bow down your head to the Lord. Kamaha Dasya Niyojanam. Kama, desire to serve the Lord. You can make so many plans. I want to do this service to Krishna. I want to do this service. I want to do this. So many things. You know, the desire is there. But natu kamya vastushu. Not like I want to enjoy this, I want to do this, I want to do this. Okay. So these are a positive way where everything can be used in Krishna's service. This is Yukta Vairagya. So you connect everything to Krishna service and gradually you get the higher taste. Param drushtva. Param rasam drushtva. Then lower taste nivartate. That's what happens. So this is our dhyanam. So prashna nasti chet Shri Krishnarpanamastu.